Hello friends, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. So today I wanted to share the March flip throughs in my two Hobonichi planners. I'm enjoying using both of these planners, and both of these serve different purposes in my life. So I thought today I would just start with the weeks and quickly share how I'm using the weeks. If you catch my plan with me's, it's typically the weeks that you're seeing. The week serves as my neat and organized planner. It's the planner that I set up on Sundays to plan for the upcoming week. So unless it's on my monthly, no future planning occurs in this. The future planning in my life occurs in my personal ring planner, which is where I am messy and scribbly and all that stuff. Whereas in my weeks, it's very neat and organized. So I use these two in tandem or in conjunction with one another. So my weeks is pretty simple, basic. I didn't spend a lot of time this year setting it up. So if you've caught any of my previous two flips, this has pretty much stayed the same as has this page. It just has some random stickers and my word of the year and whatnot. I do not use the year at a glance page for any purpose. And then I use this page for tracking certain things. One of them is I use this brown color dot if I finish a book. I use this gray dot for to mark if I work out. I'm a day behind. Today's actually Thursday, so I need to fill in for Wednesday. And then I put an H for headache and an M for migraine. And I've never successfully completed this tracker. So my goal this year is to actually have this completely filled up. I started using this on January 1st. So I did not plan anything in December. This planner does start that first week in December, but I just didn't. I still was using my previous Hobonichi weeks. So I always try to start this in January. So this was my monthly for March. This is sometimes I am very inconsistent with using my monthlies. I sometimes will put stuff down and sometimes I don't. I rely a lot on my monthlies and my weeklies and my personal rings for holding future dates and things like that. So I think in March, I didn't put a whole lot of stuff on here. But this is typically if I'm using the monthly as I plan to or want to, this is where I'm just putting high level appointments, events, my kids' activities, paydays, that type of thing. And then at the bottom here, this is where I am tracking my sleep, the number of hours I get of sleep per night. And it goes from 4 to 8 hours. It's very rarely that I get more than 8 hours of sleep, and it's very rare that I get less than 4 hours of sleep. So I feel like that's a good timetable. And then I do also track headache, migraine on here as well. So that's the monthly spread. And I guess I should note, in previous years, I've tracked these things in my personal rings, but I'm not tracking stuff in my personal rings this year. I'm struggling with the idea of archiving inserts. My old inserts sit in a box, and it's too much of a hassle to look through. So I like that the book bound planners have that natural archiving. So my weeks pages are pretty simple. Again, if you watch my plan with me's, I pretty much operate on the same structure every single week. So I usually draw a line down the center on the weekly side with a pencil. I use the left-hand column just to note appointments, events, that type of thing. And then I use this column to note to-dos or any notes for that particular day. And then I use this column. I box this in. I draw this box here, or these boxes here. And that's where I plan out my workouts. One of my goals this year has been to work out 3 to 4 days per week and really gain strength. So it's important for me to plan out my workouts. Do I always do the workouts I have planned? Absolutely not. But having it written down and planned kind of helps me become more intentional, I guess, with it. I also note my tasks, and then I'm weekly habit tracking here. I used to do monthly habit tracking in my personal rings. I just find that this is a little bit easier because I did want to track in my weeks, but I also didn't want to use the back pages to draw out trackers. So for me, it's just easier to set up a habit tracker that's very simple each week on my weekly spread. And then I decorate and use washi. So this is like my cutesy bootsy pretty planning, organized, that type of thing. But it is also functional for me. So, and I've been enjoying like using my fountain pens in here as well. I was kind of hesitant at first, but I really enjoyed using fountain pens in here. And that was like the last week in March. And then as far as like my notes pages go, I was trying to use these as like notes and dailies. I just found that sometimes it was easier just to like grab a daily in my personal rings and scribble. For some reason, like I compartmentalize, and in my mind, like my weeks is like my neat, fancy, pretty planner, if that makes sense. So I don't want to like be scribbly in here. It's weird, I know. So usually like I'll put like either like a, you know, calendar or something like that to note like when a new month starts. And then I use this to like write in to-dos. Pretty simple. I didn't use a whole lot of pages in here. And then I went ahead and set up for April. And then before I didn't want to set up collections in here because collections were very unsuccessful for me last year. So I didn't want to like invest the time in like setting it up if I didn't need it. So I had already started like writing in here beforehand. So what I did was I kind of like went to the very back and then worked my way forward. So I have a weight log back here that I'm not sharing. I have a movie log where I'm trying to write down like what movies we watched. So I guess this is like my like consumed media portion. So in March, I watched Oppenheimer. I watched The Reverend, which I think I spelled that wrong. And then I also watched the new Roadhouse movie. Oppenheimer was pretty good. The Reverend, that's my second time watching it. It's such a depressing movie, y'all. I cannot. Every time I watch it, I'm like, it's just bleak. And then I watched the new Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal, is that his name? And Conor McGregor. I didn't like it. Some people did. I did not. Yeah, it wasn't for me. I like the original with Patrick Swayze, so maybe that speaks to my age, but it was pretty terrible, in my opinion. I'm also using, writing a series log. So, my husband and I actually started watching Yellowstone together, and he rewatched House of Dragon on Max or HBO Max, and he's been rewatching Game of Thrones. But I'm not noting that because like sometimes he watches stuff and I'll catch it, but sometimes like he's just watching it and I'm not around or I'm busy doing stuff. So I'm just catching snippets, but I've watched both of those series. I have a 2 watch list. These are usually like recommendations from people. And then I have my wish list, which if it's something like I stopped myself from impulsively buying, which is a win for me, I will write it on here along with the date I added it, the price of it, and then I can revisit it in 30 days and determine if I want to buy it. And as you can see, these 2 things I did not buy, and it's been almost 2 months. So yeah, so anyway, that's my weeks. I love this planner. It's very functional for me. I also like this little bunny clip that I got from Pen, Paper, and Plans. I'm using it to hold my pages even though Easter's over. So yep, and just stick it right there. And then next we have my HON, or it's basically a cousin. It's an A5 size planner. It just has like the Liberty fabric. I just think this is really pretty. I like the florals on here. So when they came out with this, I really wanted to pick it up. So my HON has been like the planner that I'm having a lot of fun in, although I don't use it for planning. I use it for memory keeping, archiving information, and journaling, basically. It's a really fun space for me to be in, to be creative, write about what I feel like, writing about, use my fountain pens, use like my art supplies, that type of stuff. It has chunked up quite a bit, if you look. And this is a full year, so we'll see how it goes. But I have a 22 cousin that I love how like fat and chunky it is, and it's an enjoyable experience for me to like flip through it and see all the pictures and ephemera and memories from that year. So I want this book to kind of be the same for me in that regard. So I just have pictures and whatnot, like, I think these are all still the same. I made like the conscious decision this year not to to stop freaking hoarding my stickers and actually use them. The only sticker I added this month was this cute little fountain pen, or this vinyl fountain pen sticker. I placed an order with Goulet and ordered like a bunch of ink samples. They were having like an ink sample sale in February, so it arrived in March and I stuck it on there. I do not use the year at a glance spread. I just have no use for these. Like if, I don't know, I just use my phone if I need to like look up a day. Okay, so this is my tracker. So it's like across 6 months. So initially I started using this to track like my mood. And as we got into February, I made it almost halfway through the month. I was like, my journaling pages really did show like what my mood is that day. So I don't know that this is necessary information. So what I started trying to do in March was I noted like what type of workouts I was doing. And so I put a dot if I did strength, if I did anything on the treadmill, if I walked outside, did yoga, or I walked the track at the gym. So yeah, that's where I usually walk the track on the gym on Fridays or Saturdays. And that's just because usually my kids are with me, and they have to be supervised in the gym and they're not allowed in the cardio room. So I usually walk the track on that day while they go downstairs and play basketball or pickleball or whatever. So I just like kind of seeing this at a glance, how frequently I'm doing each type of workout. So I'm going to try to keep it going for April and see how it goes. I don't want to like, get too complacent and be like, oh yeah, I'm killing it. And then again, since I don't plan in this planner, I don't have really like a purpose for the monthlies, as far as planning goes. So I use the monthly pages to track my workouts, basically, to like write detailed information in. Again, this is something that previously I had done in my personal rings, but I wanted it in a book so it would naturally archive itself. So I either use like a Tombow, or I think I've been using like my Crayola Super Tips to mark around the box. And then I write in what workout I did. I write how long or like duration of workout. And if it's something distance measured, then I write in like, the distance. Something that I started this month is because I am trying to gain strength in certain areas, I wanted to note like how much I'm lifting. So when I'm doing RDLs, I'm putting my RDL lifts, bench press with an actual bench and not a Smith machine, because I was initially bench pressing on a Smith machine and it was not helping with stability. So I'm on like regular bench press and then leg press. So I'm trying to gain strength in those areas. So I think this week I'm up to 220, but I'm trying my best to increase weight every week by 5 pounds if possible. Sometimes my knee, I have a messed up right knee, so I have to be really like mindful and cautious, especially when I'm doing leg presses. So sometimes I don't go up on weight. So anyway, my goal, I feel like I've been on the spread for a minute. My goal is to work out 3 to 4 days per week. And then what I do at the end of the month is I tally up the number of workouts I did in that month. So March, I did really, really good. I really was doing 4 workouts a week, which is excellent. So I would say I smashed that goal. And what I like about having like all the monthlies here is I can compare like my progress. And so in February, I got 14 workouts in, and then in January, I got 15 workouts in. So I've been fairly consistent this year, which is making me pretty happy. So, I think this is just helpful for me to see, and it really keeps me motivated and disciplined. And then the weekly spreads I use for memory keeping, essentially, and I just kind of decorate with washi various stickers. Just some like notable stickers that I've been enjoying using, aside from like my typical, you're looking at, I use a lot of Via Creations. I use a lot of pen, paper, and plan stickers. So I purchased this off of Amazon. It's called Boho Dream Sticker Book. I really like the aesthetic of it. And I got this for like $5. I actually use my fetch points to buy this book on Amazon. And then this past weekend, I found these food stickers at Hobby Lobby. They're cute as a button. So I did purchase those as well. But this is where like I write about my day or what happened, or, you know, just make note of things that have occurred. I really enjoy this. This is very relaxing. I try to do this every night. If I can't, then I usually will only like go 2 days without doing it. And I just, you know, write about honestly the little things that happen in life, you know, those things that, you know, like on this day, I was telling my husband, I love like those Japanese magnolia trees, and they only bloom for like a short period of time. And my husband works at the local university, so he took me to see some that he saw that he knew were blooming, and that, you know, meant a lot to me. So those things get noted. Anything that kind of occurs in that week. Sometimes if it's like something we do for the whole day, like on the 13th, we visited Natural Bridge, which is a natural bridge formation that's like a cave. And so I just, you know, made a picture, or not made a picture. I printed out a picture that would fit the box, and then I wrote a blurb about it. So this just kind of gives like a quick rundown of what I've done that week, or all of that. So yeah, it's a good place for memories. I do try to doodle in here sometimes with my fountain pens. And I'm very much somebody who doodles with a pencil first and then like outlines it. So when I'm drawing with like my fountain pens, I kind of struggle a bit, but like those are the food stickers. They're so cute. So that is, and then I'll stamp all that good stuff. So I really enjoy like this spread, and, you know, it's just very relaxing to me. Okay, so then we'll get to the dailies. Another goal I have this year was I wanted each daily page to be filled out in this book, even if I had to like go back and backfill it, or if I wanted to go back and draw something. I wanted every single day to be filled in this book. So that's the goal. See how it goes. So far, so good. I didn't skip any days in March. As far as this page, I'm kind of undecided. I said I wanted March to be Sarah J. Maas month, and I wanted to reread the entire ACOTAR series. I did not. I made it through 2.5 books. So I thought about cutting out pictures of the book covers I did finish and sticking them here, and either like doodling like March, like birth flower of the month, or putting down some pictures like of memories from that month. So that's kind of like to be continued. I just haven't gotten around to that yet. So I use these pages to like journal about my day, essentially, for the most part. Sometimes I don't, but that's usually what I do. I use various stickers. These cute Polaroid looking stickers are from Pen, Paper, and Plans. And I just like, I'll collage, I'll do whatever. And it's fun. Sometimes again, like this day, you can tell like I was annoyed. And sometimes, and that conveys, and on those days that I need to express that, I have these like snarky, quote stickers from Tim Holtz, and I'll do that. So like this one says, I wish more people were fluent in silence. On this day, I got my order from Goulet Pen. So I just, you know, inked my pens with 2 of the ink samples I received. And then I listed out what samples I purchased. And I wrote, I can't wait to try all the different inks. I really like these 2 so far. And then I just pasted in this little thing that came from Goulet. So sometimes I, you know, post in ephemera and things like that. But a lot of times it's just writing about my day and all of that. If I'm needing to process through like thoughts and emotions, that's what the B6 Stalogy is for. This is more like my stream of conscious journaling, where my Hobonichi HON is more my memory keeper, basically. So this day, my daughter found out she made the high school cheer team, so I wanted to capture that for her. It was also the beginning of spring break. So also on the 8th, I got this pen came in, this Jinhao. Like you can get these for like $10 on Amazon. And I inked it with this Diamine Cozy Up, which is a lovely ink color. But I accidentally wrote it on the wrong day. So I just was like, whoopsie. And then I put a piece of washi and then wrote about my day. This day, my supplemental books from I bought these on Amazon, but these little supplemental Hobonichi Weeks books came in. I have the intention of using this as my ink journal. So I just kept like part of the labeling and, you know, stuck it on here. This was the day we went to Natural Bridge. We had a really good time. Lots of fun memories. Yeah, we saw a couple snakes. Malaya stepped on a snake. It was wild. The stream back here was really pretty, and there were like people on the side like camping. That was the Natural Bridge. Like you couldn't walk on it, but you could like, it was like in a cave, so you could walk under it. So that was it was so good for my soul. That's what like I was telling people, like just to be out in nature. So I just captured that memory in that way by printing out pictures. And I print my pictures out on copy paper. Like I pull up like a 8.5 by 11 size on Canva, and I, you know, upload the pictures in Canva, and then I just size them the way I want them to be sized and stick them in here. This was my husband and mine's like date night during spring break. We attended this, I guess, interactive pirate show called Shipwreck Saloon. It was pretty fun. A coworker was telling me about it, and I was like, that sounds like so much fun. So we went to that, and she went the weekend before we did, and she was like, everyone's like dressed up and all that stuff. So I was like, cool, like we'll get like some little pirate hats and an eye patch. And we got there and like very few people were dressed up. I guess the one she went to was more, people were more interactive, I guess. So I was like, great, now we're the losers who walked in here dressed up. But we had a really good time. They gave, part of the tickets was you got 4 cocktails during the show, and they were pretty good. My husband only drank 2 of his, so I ended up with 6 cocktails, but we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs. And I tried to snap photos of all of our beverages, and stuck them in here. So it was a good time. Yeah, so I think this was the one I did upload a video in March where I shared like my Hobonichi HON like routines and stuff. So I think I journaled this while I was filming. And then Sophie was like, you have it, like she was like an Easter egg. So she took a little bitty Hello Kitty Christmas sticker from CZQ Plans and stuck it in here. And then I just wrote, and I felt like my page was blank, so I doodled. St. Patrick's Day, these cute stickers were from Pen, Paper, and Plans. I had them in my stash, so that was fun. Some days I do just, you know, sticker and write. Other days, like I'm in here like trying to doodle. Yep, I felt that. That was the week we returned. This week was the week we returned from spring break, and it was like the longest week ever. This here was a funny story. Sorry, I got really loud all of a sudden. Funny story. So before we went out on spring break, one of my coworkers was like, hey, the school she's at is doing like an art show fundraiser. And I had given her some, like a watercolor painting as a Christmas gift for her office. And she asked me to donate some of my art. I was like, yeah, that's cool. So I donated it that Wednesday. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know that like it's an art contest. Like I just thought like, you know, I'm donating art so y'all can fundraise and make some money for the school. But it was not. So she sent a text in the group text and was like, Tiffany like won first and second in the art contest. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, I didn't know it was an art contest. I didn't want to win anything. And I was like, did y'all have me? Like, did you present my art with kids? Like, is that the thing? Did I just like win against kids? So the group chat was popping. I was absolutely roasted. By my husband, all in good fun. It was a good time. I was like sending Tiff some like voice memos in the WhatsApp telling her about it. It was the funniest thing. And so I sent this meme to the group, and I had to print it out. But I don't know if you guys have ever seen this one where it says 8 years ago, I entered the local library's library card design contest, not knowing it was for children, and absolutely dominated. Then they made me accept the award at City Hall with the kids I beat. And I was like, I'm this guy now. And so like, it was fun. Everyone was having a good time at my expense. And these were the pictures my coworker sent me of the paintings that won. But anyway, so then I get to work the next day, and she's like, I didn't have a chance to explain in the group chat. And she's like, besides, it was really hilarious what was happening. So she said there was like categories for like each kid or each like class or whatever for the school. And she was like, you were entered in like the community category, so you were not up against children. And I was like, that is hilarious. But I had so many good laughs. Like, I could not stop laughing. So those were my ribbons. And then they gave me these little medals. They're like little candy wrappers. So yeah, it was a good time. It was pretty funny. So I wanted to remember that because I laughed so hard that night. So I think just this day I got these new markers at Walmart and I liked them. And then my daughter got her report card. She made all A's. Her lowest grade was a 95 and it was in choir. I was like, you have like the biggest brain. This was the day we went to Egg the City. It's a pretty fun event hosted by like, I think some local churches where they get like 90,000 of those like plastic Easter eggs. And they have like kids hunt them, but they also have like other like fun activities for kids to do. One of the things was the petting zoo. So I got to hold bunnies and I got to pet a mini cow. And it was fun. And then that night we had a barbecue at the house and it was fun. We had a guest that we have a fire pit in our backyard and we had a guest that we were making s'mores and she was like, I've never had a s'more before. And I was like, oh, you will not leave here without being able to say that again. So we rectified that situation and it was joyful to watch her eat her first s'more. But it was a good time. And then this day I made an effort to paint with some ink samples I had and didn't turn out all that great, but I tried. And then more writing this day. Yeah, this was a rough day. Wednesdays are like my hard days. I don't know if it's like midweek or just kind of like where I'm at work-wise, but it's a rough day. So I just used my snarky stickers again. I used the wine, the vineyard collection that Tiffany from Plan with Tiffany and then Karen from Pen Paper and Plans collabed with. I made a whole spread. Long week again. This time of year in schools is chaos, it feels like. It's wild. And then that Friday I had a migraine all day. The kids were out of school that day. I was so salty. Y'all, they gave the kids that Friday and that Monday off and they didn't give us any of the days off. I was like, y'all could have gave us one day. So I was a little salty, but I had a migraine all day and I ended up going to bed early. On this day, I didn't feel like writing, so I felt like drawing. And I had watched a tutorial from Shada Campbell where she did like this line art. There were these line art daffodils, so I followed the tutorial. And then after I drew it, I kind of wanted a background, so I just used a Tombow to kind of messily highlight the back. I like the way it turned out, though. And then the final day in March was Easter, and so that was a busy day. We had a good time. We went to Mass, and that morning we had breakfast with my in-laws. We went to Mass, and then we had a picnic in a park with my parents and my brother. And my oldest did some softball stuff, and Sophie hunted eggs, and I was like playing on playground equipment with Sophie. We had a good time. So that was really enjoyable. So that was the last day of March. Excuse me. And yeah, so I would say I really enjoyed using both of these planners this month. And I intend on continuing to use these as, I'm really enjoying the HON and the creative processes and all of that good stuff. So anyway, I was hoping this video would not be this long, but y'all know I talk a lot. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment those down below. I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Bye, friends.